Hello guys, this is MrSadOnion. This is going to be my first video series. Let's play Umineko no Nakakoro ni, or When the Seagulls Cry. Since this is my first video, I'm going to explain how it goes. I'm going to probably be recording in 30-minute parts. I'm probably going to end up doing all the books if I get around to them. Hopefully I will. I'm probably going to stop sometimes in the recording just so you can hear the music. And we're going to be starting off, just jump right into it with Episode 1, The Legend of the Golden Witch. Welcome to Rokkenjima. The Golden Witch extends her heartfelt greetings. First, please put yourself at ease. There is nothing too difficult to think about. Accept entirely, silently, the events to happen. That is all that is asked of you. Difficulty is standard. Shall we first take the easy road? We shall. This story is fictional. Any resemblance to real people, events, etc. is purely coincidental. Again. So you still haven't overcome your love of alcohol. The old physician let out a sigh as he removed the stethoscope. Two elderly men could be seen in the dimly lit study, which was filled with dust and a sickly sweet stench. In the corner of this room, which was much larger than what most people would call a study, there was an expensive-looking bed, a man undergoing a medical examination, and the physician conducting it. There was also what appeared to be a servant watching over the whole scene. The bottle is my friend. It is no less of a friend than you, and it has stood by my side even longer than you have. As the man who had bared his chest for the stethoscope rearranged his clothes, he spoke unapologetically. Kinzo-san, your body only appears to be well thanks to the effects of the medicine. However, if you continue to drink such strong spirits, the treatment will become meaningless. Trust my judgment. Refrain from drinking. I thank you, though only for the sentiment, my friend. Genji, another glass. Water it down slightly. That way Nanjo can save face. Are you quite sure? After eyeing both the master who demanded the alcohol and the family doctor who forbade it, Genji, the old butler, silently gave a nod and carried out his master's order faithfully. The family doctor, Nanjo, let out a deep sigh once again as he watched the butler busy himself alongside the liquor cabinet. There was a smell filling up the room. This sweet, poisonous aroma felt as though it melted the heart, if not the soul itself. It was the smell of that venomous green drink that the man couldn't bring himself to part from. Nanjo, you're my close friend, and we've known each other for quite a long time. I'm deeply grateful for all that you have done to keep me alive for this long. I have done nothing. After all, you never listen to my advice as your physician. And you never listen when I warn you about a mistaken chess move you're about to make. It seems we're even. Master, thank you. I wouldn't die if I ran out of your medicine, but I would die if I ran out of this. Disregarding Nanjo, who had his face set in a resigned expression, Kinzo took the glass that Genji was holding out to him. There are probably very few people who would associate the venomous color which filled the glass with an alcoholic beverage. Nanjo, be honest with me. How much time do I have left? Well now, how short must I make it to get you to stop drinking? Nanjo once again let out a sigh of resignation. Then he finally spoke to Kinzo as the latter swirled his glass. You don't have much time. What precisely do you mean by that? Let us illustrate it with this chess game here. You have very nearly achieved checkmate, but you have not yet cornered my king. Nanjo's gaze was directed at a side table with a massive chess set placed on it. Judging by the position of the pieces, the game seemed to be entering its final stage. The black rook and bishop were cutting deeply into the enemy lines. The white king had already been castled and cornered, so that even an amateur could see that the match would reach its conclusion before too long. Every time Nanjo came to give a medical examination, both of them would make a few moves. Nanjo was hinting that Kinzo would most likely fall into his eternal sleep before this game could be concluded. These were less the words of a physician than they were the words of an old friend. Were you a normal patient, I would recommend that you would write a will at this point. And what is a will, Nanjo? Handwritten instructions to the vultures on how to devour and scatter my corpse? No, not at all. As the word suggests, it is a way for you to record your will for later generations. It is far more than just a means to divide up your inheritance. Oh, And apart from the division of the inheritance, what might I write of? Oh, there's your regrets, and matters you left unfinished, things you want to be passed down, and things you want to tell. Anything you want. Things I want to be passed down and things I want to tell of? Ridiculous. I, Ushiromio Kinzo, have not left one thing I wanted to tell or leave behind. I was born with nothing, I will die with nothing. There is nothing I wish to leave to my foolish children. Even if the end were to come today, even if it were to come right now, I shall accept this fate of death without a trace of fear. I created everything, my fortune, my prestige, everything. Those were built up by me, and they will be lost along with me. There is nothing I wish to leave behind. Nothing. After I'm gone, I care not if it all goes to waste. I desire no tomb, no coffin. Those were the terms of the contract I made with the witch. When I die, everything will be lost. That has been part of the promise since the beginning, and that's why nothing will be left behind. There's nothing I can leave behind. After reaching a furious crescendo, Kinzo slumped over. His expression was limp and feeble, as though an evil spirit had possessed him and then left. However, I do have one regret. I have nothing to leave behind, but there's one thing I cannot leave undone. You would do well to write it down. Of course, it would be best if you could finish it before your time comes. However, even if the worst happens, those who come after you will carry it to completion. You must leave behind your regrets so they can be resolved even if you are unable to do so yourself. That is the purpose of a will. When Nenjo tried to gently pat Kinzo's shoulder, the dying man flew into a sudden rage and batted away Kinzo's hand. It's useless! 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 It must be done while I still live. At the moment of my death, my soul will be devoured by the demons of the contract and wiped out of existence. For me, there will be no peace or another world after death. That's why everything must be done before I go. That's why a will has no meaning for me. And even if I had the chance to write such a thing, if I did have such a chance, I'd want to see it. I want to see it one more time. I want to see Beatrice's smiling face one last time. Oh, Beatrice, why have you resisted me for so long? I'll return everything you've given me. I'm prepared to lose everything, so please show me your smile just one more time. Beatrice, I beg of you. You must be able to hear my plea. That's the kind of woman you are. I beg of you, show yourself to me. You're here, aren't you? You're standing there, invisible, listening to every word I say, and even now you're mocking me for somewhere in this room, aren't you? Please, appear before me one more time and smile. Feel free to scold me, even snatch away my life by your own hands if you wish. I don't want to die alone like this. I cannot let myself die until I've seen your smile just one more time. Ah, Beatrice, Beatrice, I offer up this life of mine. I offer it up to you, and I'm begging you, Beatrice! Welcome to Rokkenjima. Okay, so awesome opening, I've got to say. And one last thing before we get back to the story while it's black screen. I'm probably going to pronounce things weird, but I don't know. I'm going to pronounce some names probably completely correctly, and then others I'm going to just butcher and pronounce different ways. So if you want to correct me in the comments, I can try to fix it, but I can't promise you anything. So now, back to the story. Whoa, things sure move with the times. I can't believe we'll make it will be able to make the trip in just 20 minutes. I couldn't help but scratch my head and marvel at how far things had come in the recent years. We used to go by boat. Back then, we were all forced to endure nearly half a day of swaying back and forth over the sea before we reached Nijima. Things have gotten so much more convenient these days. Still, I've never been on a plane this small. I've flown in a huge jumbo jet before, but this will be my first experience in such a tiny one. It's going to shake, isn't it? They say that smaller boats shake more, so I guess the same rule applies to planes. Just spare me. Haha, don't worry, Battler-kun. It'll shake much less than the boat did. Gah! Is that your Georgianiki? Heh, don't scare me like that. You just shaved 3 years off my life. Anyway, what's shaking got to do with anything? You don't think I'm actually scared of the plane shaking or maybe falling out of the sky or something, right? Oh, of course not. My mistake. I see you've changed a lot since we last saw you. After all, it's been 6 years since then. You're not a kid anymore. Haha. Sheesh, and here you are old enough to smoke and drink. I've got no interest in smoking, but I've always wanted to try some booze. Well, if you've got your dad's genes, I'll bet you can hold your own when it comes to drinking, right? Well, I usually drink for business rather than pleasure. It's pretty hard to do business in Japan without it. That's exactly right. That's why I never miss a chance to get in some practice. That's no good, Battler-kun. You're just still a minor. Drinking alcohol is known to stunt the growth of minors and, never mind. Come on, I'm tall enough already. In fact, it'd be easier to find clothes if I shrunk a little. I puffed my chest out proudly. Until I hit my growth spurt, my height was below average in my class. But then I grew and grew, and before I knew it, I'd passed 180 centimeters. 5 feet 11 inches. I guess I have all that muscle training and those shady mail-order performance-enhancing drugs to thank for that. Before then, I'd never dreamed that I'd shoot 10 centimeters above Georgianiki, who had reached his peak height early on. Damn, I'll bet my relatives all say, "Look how big you've gotten, Battler-chan," or something. It's all so embarrassing. I wish they'd just give me a break. Anyway, my name's Battler. Well, it's pretty damn weird, don't you think? I've got to wonder why my parents were thinking when they gave me that name. I've never met anyone who could read it right the first time. I usually get called Sento-kun. Unfortunately, that's not even close. My name is written... Can you read it? The first part is my family name, Ushiro-miya. That's a fairly plausible Japanese pronunciation so far. The problem is my own name. Is made out of the characters for fight and person, and it's pronounced Battler. Put it all together, and you've got Ushiro-miya Battler. Pretty crazy, right? It's crazy enough that my parents decided to call me that, but it's even more crazy that some government worker let them make it official. Both groups are at the top of my must-kill list. Anyway, this is one of my cousins. His name is pronounced Ushiro-miya Georgie. He's 5 years older than me, so he's probably turning 23 this year. Since the Ushiro-miya cousins consist of 2 boys and 2 girls, I ended up playing with Georgie all the time. And because I've always thought of him as a big brother, I still call him Aniki today. Ooh, Battler-kun, look how big you've gotten. You know what they say, leave a boy for 3 days and you'll hardly recognize him. It must be in his blood, I suppose. Rudolph wasn't that tall either until around his high school years. Perhaps people end up taller if their growth spurt comes late. Nah, it's nothing special. A real man needs to be tough on the inside, too. Exactly! Battler-kun here knows how it works. Real men win or lose based on what they've got on the inside. Can't ever forget to keep up your training and discipline. You do that, wait very alertly for the perfect moment, and strike! Now, I never even imagined that I'd become the company president I am today, master of my own domain. Yep, to think I've come this far after starting out penniless and ruined. This stout, plump, old guy is Georgianiki's dad, Hideyoshi Oji-san. He's the husband of Dad's older sister. In other words, we're not blood related. He's nice to children, sociable all the time, and even quick to give out some spending money to his kids. Simply put, he's an awesome uncle. He speaks in an odd and very noticeable Kansai dialect, but he's actually a natural-born Kanto man. Apparently, impressions are everything in the business world, so speaking in a different style than other people is an act that makes him stick out more. However, I hear that he gets embarrassed when talking within earshot of a real Kansai person, so he switches back to standard Japanese. I don't really get it, but he's definitely an interesting person. If only you weren't so quick to judge about your life story. That's enough for now, I think. I'm sure Battler's getting tired of it. Aren't you? Nope, not at all. Nothing wrong with that. I think it's pretty cool for a man to have some stories he can brag about. I don't have anything like that at all. Oh, really? I'd imagine a man with your looks would have girls crying left and right. I can't believe that you have nothing to brag about at all. What? You're joking, right? Of course nothing like that's ever happened to me. In fact, I'd rather it did. Ah, so you do have some stories. You must tell your aunt all about it later. After all, nothing of the sort ever happens to Georgie. This is my aunt and Georgie Aniki's mother, Eva Oba-san. She's my dad's older sister. She and Hideyoshi Oji-san are a pair of jokers, and they've always teased me back as far as I can remember. This sometimes made it a bit hard to get along with when I was small. Well, I guess the events of the last 30 seconds prove that they can still be hard to get along with. Even so, Georgie Aniki's family is interesting and fun, and they seem to get along just fine. Sheesh, that's pretty much the total opposite of my family. Battler-kun, have you seen Rudolph-san? Huh? He headed off to the bathroom a while ago. Is he not back yet? Heh, maybe the poor geezer dropped dead. That's no way to talk about your father. Still, this isn't the first time he's taken so long in the bathroom. Yeah, the guy's always been that way. Does he really have to take a magazine with him every time he needs to take a dump? Oh, what on earth might he be doing with those? Oh, you don't need to worry about that at all. Since we've been together, I haven't let him do that stuff on his own. Oh, I'll have to get that juicy details later. Sounds like Dad's got his balls up in an iron grip. You know exactly what would happen with that man if I didn't keep a tight grip, don't you? No kidding. You're the only one capable of reining that in that old bastard. As his son, I'm more than happy to let you take over. Yes, leave it all to me. After all, that's my specialty. This woman is my father's wife. Her name is Ushiromiya Kirie. As you can probably tell from our conversation, she's not my real mother. She's basically my stepmother. My real mom died 6 years ago. Kirie-san is the woman Dad married afterwards. It's understandable for someone my age. I could never bring myself to call his new wife Mom. And I doubt she feels like using the word son on this massive kid who's in no relation to her at all. We aren't little kids. We know there's nothing to be gained by fighting, so we decided that we wouldn't force ourselves to pretend that we're family. I've decided to act a bit more frank with her, and as though she's a friendly neighbor instead. It's much easier to just keep a little distance instead of forcing ourselves to act all close and making each other uncomfortable. Kirie-san has been very open about all this, and thanks to that, we've been able to get along pretty well. Then, just when we were bad-mouthing Dad about being in the bathroom, the man himself came back, wiping his hands with his handkerchief. Battler. Hey, what's up, Dad? Ow, ow, ow! Don't pinch my ears! Gah! So you've been talking trash about me with Mom again, haven't you? What makes it so hard to show a little respect for your father, Ow, 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 ow! Damn it, that hurts! You can stretch my ear all you want, but I'm not going to be able to fly! That hurts! Come on now. Up, up, down, down, left, right. Now say, Father, please forgive me for being so rude. Like hell I will. Go find yourself some members-only store if you want it that much. Gah, let go! This old bastard is my dad. I think I'm pretty tall, but Dad's about the same height. It's probably no surprise that Eva Oba-san started talking about my dad's blood when he saw my height. By the way, my height isn't the only thing I got from him. It seems having weird names runs in the family. Dad's full name is written... You can't read it, can you? Come on, it's just... Anyway, this guy's name is pronounced Rudolph. Haha, he must hate Grandfather for giving me that name. Still, that's no reason to pass that weird naming tradition on to me. As the old bastard twisted my ear all over the place, Eva Oba-san snuck up behind him and grabbed his ear. Hey, Rudolph, isn't that child abuse? Gah, that hurts, Aniki. This scene perfectly illustrated the relationship between the prankster younger brother and the older sister who could deal out punishment to him despite his size. I think that's good enough for now, Eva-san. I'll make sure to stretch out his other ear later on. Oh, my apologies. I must leave some pulling for you to do, Kirie-san. Rudolph, make sure Kirie-san gives you lots and lots of punishment later on, alright? Sure want to talk, Aniki, abusing your little brother like that. Hideyoshi Nissan, I'd like to thank you very much for picking her up. If you hadn't been so generous, she'd still be unsold in the store. You have my gratitude and apologies. Who are you calling unsold? After taking 2-3 steps back, Eva Oba-san unleashed one of her beautiful high reverse roundhouse kicks, which stopped just a centimeter away from the tip of Dad's nose. After starting out with a Tai Chi Quan for her figure, Eva Oba-san then developed an interest in the Chinese martial arts. After that, she went through karate, taekwondo, Capoeira. And what is it she's learning now again? Well, anyway, they say a woman's weapons are in her lower body, and that's literally true for Ava. Rudolph? Did you know that a single direct blow to the side of the head like this would knock you unconscious? Not so long ago, I accidentally connected in a practice match with my opponent was out cold. Sheesh, what a pain. Guess I have to apologize for that strange way she walks too. Dad, completely unfazed, shrugged and smiled ironically at Hideyoshi Oji-san. Wahaha! Never had a brother or sister myself, so when I see you two bickering with each other, it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Sure, it's nice to have a big family and siblings. Oh, then why not consider making a little brother for Georgie-kun? He is already a fine adult who's about to go off on his own, so it might be a good time to have another child. Hey, have a little sympathy for the kid and all the pain and suffering he had to live through. I'm surprised even Georgie-kun turned out as well as he did after being born from the sinister sister of mine. And what an awesome kid he is. Please share some of that with our blockhead of a son someday, will you? That's not how it works. It's thanks to Ava Nasan's proper rearing that Georgie-kun became the good, gentle kid he is now. Isn't that right, Nasan? Oh, come on now. You think so? Josie still has a long way to go. Ah, by the way, how's your little Angie-chan doing? I heard she was vomiting? Oh, that's right. And I was hoping to finally see her face after such a long time. Is she alright? She often catches a cold when the seasons change. She's very frail. I did want to bring her along, but we decided to have my family look after her this time. I think that's a wise move. Sticking her in that venomous head house wouldn't do her any good at all. A child's health is always more important than an adult's convenience, don't you think? I know of some great medicine for vomiting colds like that. When we get back home, I'll send you some right away, so please let her use it. Thank you very much, Hideyoshi Nisan. I'm always in your debt. And once the conversation suddenly veered off in that direction, we kids didn't have any chance of butting in. For now, I'm just happy that Ava Oba-san gave Dad his just desserts for tugging on my ear. Are we still waiting for the weather report? Georgie Aniki pointed at the counter. The checking weather sign was still stuck next to the departure times for the flight we were scheduled to board. According to Aniki, smaller planes are more subject to winds and other effects of the weather. And it's not at all uncommon for flights to be delayed because of that. Wait a sec. It isn't really going to shake, is it? From down here on the ground, it just looks cloudy, not windy. Well, I guess it's different up there where the planes fly. The weather's a bit uncertain today. Ava Oba-san looked at the TV in the lounge. The weather forecast was being broadcast informing us that a typhoon was approaching the Kanto region. A typhoon again? I guess it's unavoidable with the annual conference being held in October. Couldn't he choose a better season? I agree. I've always hoped you could have it sometime around the Oban Festival in mid-August. In that case, why don't you suggest that to Father and Nissan during the conference? Very funny. Why don't you do it yourself? Our brother would never listen to anything I suggested. No way. It doesn't really bother me to have it that much in October. I just suggested that you might want to propose it to him, since you said you hate typhoons so much. I only said the typhoons always come around this time of year. You're the one who said you wanted to move to the Oban Festival, right? Well, you said it too last year. Didn't you say that it would be easier to fit into your schedule if you had it during the Oban Festival? I never said anything like that. Oh, yes, you did. I certainly wouldn't forget something like that. No, I didn't. You're the one saying that all the time. Didn't you know? Stopping a kick just a hair's breadth away is a very high-level technique. Sheesh, women your age shouldn't spread their legs like that. Dad and Ava Oba-san's argument looked no different from a couple of brats quarreling. Even though they normally behave like usual parents, they turn right back into kids again whenever they meet their siblings at family conferences. You're the one that looks like a real adult, analyzing it all calmly. I hope I never turn out like that old bastard. I'd much rather end up as an intellectual adult like you, Aniki. Like me? Oh, I still have a long way to go. I still have very little experience out there in the real world, and I need to work on becoming a more bold and sociable. I think you've surpassed me on all those counts, Battle-kun. I'm sure you'll outstrip me fast enough when you become an adult. Georgie Aniki scratched his head and laughed as though trying to hide his embarrassment. Of course, he was just being humble. Aniki entered a university and became an apprentice at Hideyoshi Oji-san's company at the same time, studying both academics and how to become a business emperor in parallel. Then, right after graduating, he got into Hideyoshi Oji-san's company as his father's aide, piling up a lot of real-life experiences as he devoted himself zealously to his work. His great dream is to one day stand on his own and build up his own kingdom. Aniki is a real paragon of a man, sparing no effort as he strides towards his goal. It's no exaggeration to say that I really respect him. And then, there's me. I'm nothing at all like Aniki. I'm living my happy-go-lucky, idle high school life to the max. I've got no dreams for the future. I just like to sit back, stay cool, and let the money flow in. But of course, that could never happen. When Aniki was my age, he had already formed an impressive objective and had started devoting himself towards studying for that goal, so I guess I couldn't fare at all. My dad just says, sure, you can study at the company if you like cleaning toilets. Damn it, I'm not going to be in debt of that old bastard. I'll find my way myself. If only willpower was all it took to become an adult. Should I go on one of those self-searching journeys that are all the rage these days? Well, it's not like I could mooch off my parents for that kind of money. Right then, Hideyoshi Oji-san shouted loudly. Oji-san is a really nice person on the whole, but he does have a problem controlling the volume of his voice. When I looked over, I saw that he was greeting I saw that he was greeting Rosa Oba-san, who had come late. Oh! If it isn't Rosa-san! Maria-chan, long time no see! Long time no see! Ooh! Maria, shouldn't that be it's good to see you again? Greet your uncle properly. Ooh, it's good to see you again. There you go. Well said. How about some candy as a reward? Oh, huh? Where'd I put it? Rosa-san, it's good to see you again. It's good to see you too, Maria-chan. It's been too long, Kirie-ni-san. Hideyoshi-ni-san. And, oh my, Battler-kun? Look how big you've gotten. Ah, come on. It's embarrassing hearing that from every person I meet. Hey, Rosa, you're late. If the plane was on time, you'd barely have made it. I'm sorry. We had some trouble making our train connection. So, are we waiting on the weather again? Oh, don't complain. I much prefer the 30-minute plane trip to spending 6 hours bouncing around on a boat. Even if we're kept here waiting for an hour, it's still much faster overall. Maria-chan's got huge too. So how tall are you now? Ooh, so how tall am I now? Maria-chan parroted Hideyoshi Oji-san's question, looking up at her mother. I guess she doesn't remember her own height. She's probably right in the middle of a growth spurt, so her height must change every month. In just a few more years, she'll probably start looking very feminine. How tall were you the last time you got measured? You keep getting bigger and bigger, don't you? Right? Ooh! I think she's grown a lot since last year. Let's see, she turned 9 years old this year, didn't she? 9 years old. Ugh. That's right, you're 9 years old now. Glad to see you're doing well, Maria-chan. I guess you've gotten a bit too heavy to play airplane with. Georgie Aniki, what a rude thing to say to a lady. Here, I'll do it. Up you go. Ugh. When I went to lift her up in Aniki's place, Maria stiffened defensively, staring suspiciously at my face. Ah, that's right. The last time I met Maria, it was 6 years ago, and she was only 3 years old. Of course, she doesn't remember my face. Maria-chan, don't you remember? It's Battler-kun. You used to play together, remember? Ooh. No surprise, I guess. The last time she met Battler, she was only 3. You don't keep memories at that age. She must know everyone's face apart from mine because she meets with everyone every year. But I haven't had contact with the Yoshimura family for about 6 years now, so it's no surprise that this 9-year-old girl doesn't have any memories of me. Even I can only just barely remember her being a 3-year-old crybaby. Maria, this is Battler Oni-chan, Rudolph Nissan's son. Understand? The brother's son is... The brother is the son? Ooh! She probably uses that ooh sound to fill in the blanks when she can't understand complicated explanation. I guess that was a bit too confusing for her. Maria-chan, this is Battler-kun. He's your cousin, like me. Like Giorgio Oni-chan? Battler? Cousin? Ooh. That's right, you got it. This part of Aniki is what really makes me look up to him. For someone who isn't married, he's just great at dealing with kids. I'm sure that he'll be an indulgent father in the future. Battler Oni-chan? Maria looks straight at me with a questioning expression, as though asking whether it was alright to call me that. Yep, that's me, Battler. Nice to meet you, Maria. Ooh, Battler! Maria, you mustn't talk to him like that. Call him Battler Oni-chan. That's alright, Rosa Oba-san. I don't sweat the small stuff. Hey, Maria, we're close enough that we don't need honorifics, right? Battler, Battler, Battler! Ooh, ooh! That's right, Maria. Maria, Maria! Ooh, ooh! We horsed around for a while to make up for the 6-year gap in our friendship. She probably still thinks of me as nothing more than a big new friend, but things will probably work out as we get to know each other again. But I'm surprised. She's just the way I remembered her being 6 years ago. Seems that people just don't change that much after all. I'm a bit happy that she's still the pure, innocent girl I remember. Her name is written, of course, is pronounced Maria. The third character looks like a cross, which is pretty cool. Her feelings don't usually show up on her face, so it can be a bit difficult just to know what she's thinking. But that's just how she looks on the outside. On the inside, she's just a sweet, normal girl. Then there's Maria's mother, Rosa Obasan. She's my dad's younger sister. Rosa is written... Here's a name that's totally not Japanese. Sorry to say it, but her name's almost as ridiculous as Dad's. Got to respect her for not ending up as screwed up as he is, though. When I think about it, all the names in my family sound foreign. Just why is grandfather so obsessed with this? Because of him, even us grandchildren have to put up with this weird naming sense. It's even more annoying since grandfather's own name is perfectly normal. Anyway, there's one thing about Rosa Obasan that's a relief compared to the other family members. That old bastard and Ava Obasan have this annoying urge to tease and mock people all the time, but even though she shares their blood, Rosa Obasan isn't like that at all. She has the most common sense among all the siblings. Like Hideyoshi Oji-san, she's a kind aunt who'll always be on the kid's side. However, possibly because she's more strict as a parent, she's not liberal with handing out spending money like Hideyoshi Oji-san. Alright, now we have the entire group of family members who are going to board the plane. Then, as though it had waited for us all to gather, an announcement rang out through the lobby. Our apologies for the wait. Boarding will now commence for flight 201 to Nijima. We ask that the passengers please form 2 lines in front of the counter behind the white line. Rosa, you still haven't gone through boarding procedures, right? Hurry up! Oh no, Maria, come on! Ooh! We had to go through a metal detector before going out on the runway. Our small plane wasn't as massive as the international flight, but it was still a plane. A staff member holding a metal detector checked us all. Once all of us cleared the check, we followed the staff member onto the runway. Come to think of it, everyone here is in the Ushimura family. It's like this is a reserved charter flight or something. Our group stopped in front of the entrance to the airplane. Then, our guide turned around and spoke, looking down at the passenger list as he did. Boarding will now commence. As I call out your names on the passenger list, please take the seats in order, starting from the front row on the right side and going right to left, then on to the next row. I will now begin reading the passenger list. Ushimura Hideyoshi-sama. Oh, I'm first, right here. By the way, do you have some candy, Ava? I've been looking all over some, but I can't find any. Ushimiya Eva-sama. They're in the handbag. I'll get one once we're inside the plane. I've heard that candy's a good way to protect your ears from hurting because of the variations in the atmospheric pressure when landing or taking off. That's probably what they're talking about. Hope I get a window seat. Haha, don't worry. There aren't many other kinds of seats. As Georgie Aniki said, there was apparently only 2 lines of seat. So this is what a small plane is like. It isn't really gonna shake, right? Ushimura Georgie-sama. Right here. Don't worry, Battler-kun. It won't shake too much. Ushimura Battler-sama. Aniki, what do you mean by not too much? You can just swim if you fall from a boat, but if a plane crashes, you're screwed, right? We all get our own parachutes in our seats, don't we? Wait, we don't? Ushimura Rudolph-sama? Come on, Battler, quit being a wuss and get in. Ow, Dad! Don't push me! We don't get parachutes! Ushimura Kirie-sama? Alright, stop fooling around. Let's move along. Ow, Kirie! Don't push me! This blockhead isn't moving! Ushimura Maria-sama? Ooh, move! Ushimura Rosa-sama. Maria, be quiet. This is your pilot, Kawabata. We'd like to thank you for taking New Tokyo Aviation Flight 201 today. We estimate that the flight to Nijima Airport will take about 20 minutes. We are receiving reports of atmospheric turbulence. There might be shaking of the aircraft, so we ask that you do not unfasten your seatbelt after takeoff. Aniki, did that guy just say we needed to wear our seatbelts? In a jumbo jet, they let you undo them after takeoff, right? So it's gonna shake so much we can't take them off? Damn it, you tricked me! It's gonna shake after all! Where are the parachutes? I knew I should have taken the boat! Good song coming up. 7th expansion presents Welcome to Rokkenjima, When They Cry 3, Umineko no Nakoroni, When the Seagulls Cry, translated by The Witch Hunt. And I think that's where we're going to have to end today's episode, and in the future I'll be making a ton more, since this is such a long book. I hope you guys like it, and relax everybody.